Hi everybody, Golden Era Bookworm here. Many of us wonder why our diets and training programs are not yielding the results that we are working for in the gym, and much of it has to do with how our bodies regulate mTOR and the production of natural anabolic hormones. Today I wanted to talk about mTOR and the anabolic hormones testosterone and growth hormone, and how we as natural lifters can optimize these factors in our bodies to ensure maximal hypertrophy. But how do we know if these anabolic factors, and specifically testosterone, is at optimal levels? Well, you need to get checked with blood work at the doctors, for example, but if you want to do this discreetly in the comfort of your own home, you can. Today's video is sponsored by Let's Get Checked, whom I have partnered with and have a wide range of tests that can be ordered online and done at home, including male hormone tests that test for testosterone. So if you're interested in doing this, please click the link in the description and be sure to use code GOLDEN30, which gives you 30% off. And you don't want to miss out on such a huge saving. That's 30% off. Click the link in the description and use code GOLDEN30 for 30% off to get your testosterone levels checked at home. Now, the reason why, in my opinion, it is so important to check your own testosterone levels regularly is that as a natural lifter that is non-reliant on synthetic anabolics, it is important for us to ensure that our diet and exercise routine are creating an anabolic response in our bodies, which will lead to muscle growth. How many of you out there are actually checking your hormones level regularly or even yearly? That's a question really that you should be asking yourself. How many of you? I would guess that very few of you do. It is no surprise then that many of you wonder why your diets and training programs are not yielding the results that you are working so hard for. My recommendation is to check your hormones every 3 to 6 months, and this will help you assess how anabolically primed your body is to put on muscle. Let's Get Checked, once again, offers a great product in this line, and I recommend using the male hormone test, which measures testosterone and sex hormone binding globulin to give you information on circulating free testosterone in your body. Okay, so before going into how to optimize your own anabolic environment, it is important to address an important debate that has been discussed for some time now. Some people are in the opinion that only mTOR activation is important for muscle growth, whereas others say that your hormonal response to exercise is more important. The fact is that both are of equal importance, but the question is why? Well, because the anabolic hormone response stimulates muscle hypertrophy through mTOR, as shown by several studies. In fact, testosterone, growth hormone, IGF-1, and insulin can all stimulate muscle hypertrophy not only through their own receptors, but by stimulating mTOR. It's no wonder that bodybuilders on PEDs are jacked they're just jacked. They are constantly signaling muscle hypertrophy 24/7 through a synthetic anabolic environment. This fact that anabolic hormones can signal muscle to grow through mTOR is what most gym bros don't understand. The mTOR camp think that nutrition is more important and getting your branched chain amino acids, which stimulate mTOR activation, are more important than a hard workout, and therefore getting a pump in the gym is enough, which is completely wrong. Equally wrong are those that kill themselves in the gym and get a huge hormonal response but don't feed the body the nutrients that it needs. And this is why both optimal nutrition and a training program that offer progressively increasing resistance and intensity will create the most anabolic environment in our bodies, priming us for optimal muscle growth. Understanding that nutrition, exercise, and rest all play an important role in optimizing the anabolic environment that drives muscle growth, there are several things that you can do to optimize hormonal response that will drive mTOR activation. Most of us are already more or less addressing each of these issues, but the better we do each of these, the more optimal our body's anabolic environment will be, which will lead to increased muscle hypertrophy. Now let's have a look at the things we can actually do proactively to boost mTOR and anabolic hormones such as testosterone and growth hormone. Now, starting with one of the most important ways to boost your anabolic hormones naturally, and the most neglected factor, is sleep. If you are not aware of it, you need at least 8 hours of sleep a night, and ideally sound sleep for optimal recovery, and most importantly, for growth hormone and testosterone production, because that's when they are produced and secreted by your body at night, as we enter deep sleep and early in the morning as well. And by optimizing your sleep, you are going to synthesize growth hormone and testosterone naturally, and therefore optimize your anabolic environment in your body. To improve sleep, try and sleep at the same time each night. Use melatonin, for example. It's a great supplement to improve sleep quality, and try not to watch too much TV or look at your phone before going to bed, as it will not allow your brain to relax. You'll know when you are getting optimal sleep when you wake up naturally, refreshed and raring to go, as opposed to feeling tired first thing in the morning. Speaking of stressing your mind before going to bed, stress, of course, is another factor that can affect your anabolic environment, as too much stress will increase cortisol, which is not only bad for you, as it can lead to inflammation and all sorts of metabolic disorders, but chronic stress is thought to result in a shift of hormone balance. That is, too low anabolic hormone levels and high catabolic hormone levels, which is not going to help in mTOR activation. As mentioned, stress can affect your body in several ways, shifting your hormonal balance from anabolic to catabolic, and one of the ways it manifests itself is by unhealthy weight gain. Keeping your body, and in particular your body fat percentage, at a healthy range will lead to optimal anabolic hormone production. And what is the healthy body fat range for men and women? This is really important to address as well. For men, a range between 10 to 25% is optimal. For women, a range between 20 to 35% is actually very healthy, believe it or not. Being too lean instead and shredded, like most of the athletes we see on Instagram, is actually not ideal for anabolic hormone production, as most of these athletes are likely on either extreme caloric restriction diets or on PEDs. Getting shredded to levels lower than 10% body fat will decrease your anabolic hormone secretion and will likely lead to muscle loss. And this is why most bodybuilders that are shredded tend to be depressed and in a foul mood, because their testosterone and growth hormone levels are so low. Understanding that having optimal anabolic hormones gives you a feeling of wellness, and you just tend to feel great. It is no wonder that these drugs that are taken by enhanced athletes are addictive, because these bodybuilders and athletes are literally on a high when they are on PEDs. Speaking of drugs, taking PEDs will of course shut down your testosterone production in your own body, and will also screw your hormonal system completely. The endocrine glands, which regulate your anabolic environment, mostly work using feedback loops which detect when there is too much hormone in your system. If you therefore inject yourself with hormones, your organs shut down the production of these anabolic hormones. This of course means that when enhanced athletes get off the cycle that they're on, they have a crash and get depressed, because it takes a long time for the body to start producing hormones again. And the worst thing is that the hormone producing organs can get so atrophied, that is, they shrink, their cells just basically disappear. They may never actually recover fully again. The moral of the story is, if you want to optimize anabolic hormone production in your body, don't take performance-enhancing drugs. On that note, also avoid smoking and drinking, as these are also associated with decreased anabolic hormone production and a shift towards catabolic hormone production and inflammation that will cause disease. Now, speaking of diet, of course, having sufficient protein in your diet is absolutely important, and specifically having the correct amino acid balance, as it will affect mTOR activation. In particular, it is important to consume foods high in branched chain amino acids, especially foods that are high in leucine, as these will activate mTOR the most and ensure protein synthesis and muscle hypertrophy. These foods are, of course, animal-sourced proteins. Further, it is important to have an optimal amount of carbohydrates and healthy fats in your diet, as both are important for maintaining optimal production and secretion of anabolic hormones. Fats, and specifically cholesterol, being the precursors to hormones, means that a good percentage of your diet should consist of healthy fats that will ensure anabolic hormone production. Certain animal and vegetable fats are ideal, whereas fats found in processed foods, such as trans fats, should be avoided completely. On the subject of nutrition, I would add that having a wide variety of whole natural foods will ensure that you are getting sufficient micronutrients in your diet. Many would argue the value of testosterone and growth hormone boosters and spend their money on such products, but as I have said time and time again, the best testosterone or growth hormone booster your money can buy is a high quality vitamin and mineral supplement with plenty of zinc, selenium, and magnesium. Finally, the type of exercise we do is of absolute importance for optimizing or increasing anabolic hormone production. In regards to resistance training, make sure to include compound movements regularly in your program, as these will give you the most bang for your buck in regards to stimulating anabolic hormone production. Further, ensure that you regularly increase the intensity of your training to continue to challenge your body to adapt and grow. And doing this will continue to force your body to increase its anabolic hormone production over time naturally. Overtraining, which of course is tied in with training, should of course be avoided, as it will lead to a catabolic environment as opposed to an anabolic environment. Look out for the typical signs like plateauing out, lack of motivation, tiredness, and insomnia even, as these are telltale signs that your body might be overdoing it. Remember, everything in moderation is optimal. So now that you know how to optimize your anabolic hormone production and secretion for optimal mTOR activation and muscle hypertrophy, I would highly recommend using the male hormone test kit from Let's Get Checked, and make sure you use my code GOLDEN30 for a 30% discount. Again, the advantage of checking yourself regularly is that you will know how well your body is anabolically primed to put on the much desired muscle you are working for. So I do hope you have enjoyed this video, and if you have, please give the video a like, subscribe if you haven't done so yet, and please leave me your comments, and make sure to click the bell button to be notified of future videos. That's it from me. This is the Golden Era Bookworm saying bye for now.
Now, if you're interested in learning more about Vince Gironda's approach to bodybuilding, his principles, and all these tips of wisdom that he has, I mean, there's so much stuff that probably hasn't been proven by science, and it will take science to prove or disprove Vince. But to be honest, these 3 books, I believe, which I call the Classic Physique Bundle, are the best books that Vince ever came out with. And they, of course, are the Wild Physique, the Master Series, and the Pro Series. Have a look at it this way. The Wild Physique, I believe, is like the ABCs of Vince Gironda's principles to bodybuilding. He teaches you the exercises and his principles. But how do you put them together? Well, the Master Series is a 14-month program of using all of these principles, all of the diets that Vince came out with, all of the exercises. And believe me, it's a brilliant, brilliant program. Many people have used it. I know personally a lot of bodybuilders that have actually used it and made fantastic results with it. And of course, the Pro Series was a book that he came out with later on, specially targeted for getting into competition. It's just these 3 books, as I call it, the Classic Physique Bundle, Vince's best work, and available, of course, at www.goldenerabookworm.com. Now, the Pro Series of Bodybuilding, which was targeted for professional bodybuilders, contains 6 programs, each of which go for 2 months each. So it's a whole year, again, in preparation for competition. Online training is now available, including my new program, Novice to Classic, a program geared towards beginners and novices looking at developing a classic physique, as well as Classic Cut, geared at those who wish to lose weight and gain muscle fast. Details available at www.goldenerabookworm.com. Need a bodybuilding poster for your gym or office? Then check out Iron Man Magazine archive.smugmug.com for the highest quality posters on the planet. Scroll through the galleries of all the legends, including greats such as Arnold, Frank Zane, Sergio Oliva, Serge Nubret, Tom Platz, and Larry Scott, and much, much more, and select your poster now.